Hey there, fam. How's it going? My name is Amy. If you are new here, hello. I recently uploaded my very first true crime video on this channel, so I wanted to have a more generalized conversation with you. And that is on the topic of the exploitation of true crime. Let's discuss. Okay, first and foremost, I really need you to take the warning in that intro seriously. I do use so-called adult language, so if you don't want me to introduce these words to your children, this is your heads up. No harm, no foul. Hopefully. So let's discuss, because I do think it is a valid point. There are definitely people out there exploiting these victims and their families and such. I'm not here to poo-poo on that, all right? It is a valid point. But I think you're missing something. You're overlooking something. Because once you start looking into the numbers of the genre, right? It's always weird to refer to true crime as a genre. But I also used to work in a bookstore. It's a genre, okay. But the majority of the listeners, of the watchers, of the book buyers are female. And to me, to just simply put the blanket exploitation statement over it is an insult. Because there's so much more going on, right? I do think that some of us are drawn in by the whole psychological aspect of it all. What draws a person, or what brings a person to do these things, right? But I also think that for a lot of us, it's not only that, but it's also we're learning how to be the final girl, right? Hey, horror fans. Hopefully, these stories are cautionary. They're reminding people that these things not only happen, they can happen to anyone. And maybe for some, it's basic exploitation. Sure, okay, fine. But for others, it's terrifying because it's real. And some feel also to look away is a dishonor. Know their names, know that they existed and had a family, people that they live on within and all of that, right? Because either way, it feels like the majority of us are aware that true crime has been pulling in some numbers, yeah. People like to joke about how the majority of us, of the community, is female. But I was reading some articles and some were saying it's because they want that connection with the protagonist, right? And that, that's a part of learning how to be the final girl, the survivor. For me, a fear that I have is from feeling as though too few people seem to fully grasp that so much of this could happen to them, to anyone. For example, the video that I uploaded was about what Darci Pierce did to Cindy Ray. She took off with Cindy Ray in broad fucking daylight, dude. Right outside the front door of an obstetric clinic on the damn Air Force base. Her husband, Cindy Ray, the victim, her husband was a sort of military officer. He was working in an office across the freaking street. This is broad daylight in the middle of the freaking afternoon. Cindy Ray didn't get to raise her baby. She didn't get to see her children grow up. These things happen in broad daylight, and they can happen to anyone. It's not just some story on the news, right? That is, for so many of us, what is so terrifying. The least we can do is learn from it. Remember these names. Know that this happened. It can be easy here in the comfort of our couches or expensive ass freaking desk chairs. Or packed like sardines in public transportation to be on the outside looking in and cast judgment and maybe think, okay, now I know what to not do, maybe. I do feel like there are still too many out there that have a disconnect going with things that they watch and listen to. The world is already so fucked, right? How can we not be desensitized at different levels depending on our cultures and our upbringing. Human nature, right? Mainstream media teaches us trust issues big time, along with the specifics in our lives, of course, but still, right? The fact that so many needed the depth versus herd trial to teach them that mainstream media is full of shit has concerned me. How did you reach your 40s without already grasping this fact? I have a concern, friend. That's all I'm saying. I don't mean any offense. I'm just concerned. How has anyone been able to, you know what I mean? How have you been listening to these motherfuckers and not at some point gone, wait a minute. Question everything. It's okay to question. It's okay to be curious. It's okay to be like, are you sure about that? And to do your research. Are people truly exploiting the true crime genre? Like, is that really what's happening at any point? Because, like, generally speaking, humans love drama, don't they? Don't we? Not me. If I listen, that better be some fictional bullshit that I just paid $5 to see, okay? That's all I'm saying. Like, otherwise, get it the fuck out of my face. I don't. Bleh. People tend to love seeing a person cry. If you don't think so, then explain to me why people have stated when talking about editing their videos and trying to figure out what to do for the thumbnail and all that shit, they're saying, I get more views if I have a picture of me crying in the thumbnails. Like, explain that to me. Make it make sense. Like, why did Joss Whedon love to torture Sarah Michelle Gellar, damn it? Because people love that shit. They eat it up. Like, can we agree that where there's money, there's exploitation? It is bound to happen. There's always going to be that guy. No, it's not always a guy. That is too true. There's always going to be shenanigans. I do feel like for others, it's just motivation to learn ways of self-defense. You know what I mean? Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be wearing my headphones and listening to true crime podcasts while I'm walking through the podcast. Oh my God, can you imagine? Holy shit. Like, you know, walking through a city with my dang headphones on because I'm leaving work or whatever the heck, but I can't hear what's going on around me. I can't hear if somebody's sneaking up on me, right? Like, how many people, especially women, are walking through a parking lot to get to their car with a key stuck between their fingers just in case? Huh? Seeing stories about chickie mamas leaving strands of hair in the back seat of their Ubers just in case. Like, this is a fucking thing, dude. Men can absolutely be victims. Don't get cocky. But all too often, it's women and minorities and children, for fuck's sake. Please do connect. Get rid of that disconnection. Tear down that wall. Slip out of that desensitization and pull the wool from your eyes. Anyone. It's not always someone in particular. It's anyone that these things can happen to. Wrong place, wrong time. All that fucking bullshit. Because the world, it is really fucked. It really is. And not all of us are scum. Not all of those born and raised in horrible situations evolve into serial killers and vile beings either. It can be so seemingly easy to say that some people just shouldn't have kids. But they can have wonderful kids. How many of us are or love a person or know a person that has a piece of shit parent or two, and yet are nothing like that parent or two? Some of us were super, super into the psychology of it all. Some can't help but notice this shit happens in broad daylight to anyone at any time. Some feel that to look away, like I said, is insulting. Witness, remember, learn, and grow. There are things that should never happen, But why the fuck do they happen? More than once. Explain that to me. Please make it make sense. Please. Okay, that's just my 2 cents. I actually wrote out a script for this shit. You could probably tell, huh? I didn't digress. Okay, maybe I digressed in the script. I cheated! I cheated the fucking system. Either way, it's just food for thought. Feel free to let me know if you agree, if you disagree. If you do disagree, please don't be a douche. No one in this world needs a douche. Talk to your doctor, please. Like, it's just not necessary. You know, let's keep it respectful, because that's certainly always going to be my intention. And if I see anything otherwise, well, I mean, if you're using racist and really fucking crude, or not crude, but, you know, if you're just, you know, if you're gonna act like a douche, I'm gonna handle it accordingly. But, and I wouldn't expect anything else from anybody else, you know what I mean? Let's keep it fair, let's keep it cool, let's, you know, all that good shit. But yeah, tell me your thoughts, let's discuss this shit, and until next time, and beyond, please take care, please try, I'll try as well.